Welcome back. Mr. Victor Omofaye joins us next. He is the Commissioner for Environment in Kogi State. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today. Well, what a tough scenario playing out in Kogi State at the moment. First, could you just tell us, what is the current situation now?
Yes, thank you, Chamberlain. Like you said, my name is Honorable Victor Omofaye, the Commissioner of Environment. Well, it's quite unfortunate that this flooding is coming again at this time. Let me quickly take you down the memory lane there, Chamberlain. In 1936, that was when we first experienced this flooding. And at that time, it was measuring 13.6. Now, we had another one in 2012, which we all know that the level of devastation is still what we are battling on with in the state. And it was measuring 12.8 at that time. But what we had currently now is 13.2. And so you can see that it's even more than that of 2012, that we are still battling with the level of devastation. And now we are faced with this. And so, honestly, the destruction is massive, and it cut across the 10 local governments. Namely, we have Kogi, Koton, Karofe, we have Lokoja, we have Fajakuta, we have Bassa local government, we have Ibaji local government, we have Omala local government, we have Ofu local government, Ida local government, and equally we have Adavi and Igalamela Odolu. These are the 10 local governments. And as we speak, all these local governments have been submerged. In fact, they are underwater. That is just the best way to describe it.
Wow. So, how are the people coping? I mean, how have they been attended to? Any special place that they're on? What's going on with the people that have been displaced?
Yes. The state government, under the leadership of Aide Governor Alhaji Yahya Bello, has quickly set up a committee, and under the supervision of the deputy governor, who has, in the same way, quickly put up a situation room. And as we speak, all data have been collected there. And, anything that has to do, flooding in Kogi State, we have 3 stages of activities. We have before, during, and after. And so the before aspect of it is when we carry out a lot of awareness, sensitization, and what have you. And so now we are faced with this flooding. And so presently, the people who have been sensitized earlier have been moved to a higher ground. The people at the flood-prone area have been moved to a higher ground. And that is why you have not experienced the outcry of high level of death rate. But due to the earlier warnings and earlier sensitization and mobilization that we're giving them.
Okay, so speaking about that, I do remember, you've gone down memory lane to remind us, but in 2018, there was that caution as well. I think the then Commissioner for Environment, I think NEMA as well, they got there and warned that, look, the next flooding in the state may be worse than what happened in 2012, which you alluded to.
Yes, Chamberlain. You know that flooding is almost becoming an annual ritual in Kogi State. And so we had in 2012, 2018, 19, like that. And that is why this government is so proactive in ensuring that the people living along the coastal area are being given earlier warnings, earlier sensitization and awareness, to quickly move to a higher ground the moment they experience this. And that is, with the cooperation of NEMA and SEMA, we have been working in conjunction with even non-governmental organizations to see that this menace is being tackled.
Yeah, but yes, NEMA, SEMA, but even NIMED, hydrological services, they all seem to keep saying one thing: relocate those people to a higher ground. So, because this flooding, who knows, there just might be another, nobody knows when, because there's a history, which you say is almost on an annual basis. So how is the government approaching that? I know, yes, you've talked about you needing a lot of help. How is the government going about that? Are they going to how many people will move to a higher ground? What can be the solution to that?
Yes, the solution, like I would say, is to, like, that the state government alone cannot do this. And so that is why we are calling on the federal government and even international donor, well-spirited persons in the society to come to our aid. It's not something Kogi alone can do. Relocating thousands of people. Don't forget the fact that in 2012, about 70,000 houses were being destroyed. You have farmlands, you have properties worth of billions, and that is why I said, in fact, as I speak with you, the level of devastation that time is still on. We are still facing it. And so this one too is, the destruction is massive. And so that is why we are still appealing, because Kogi State government alone cannot do this. And the governor has, while he's touring the affected persons, the camps that we have, because presently we have our camps, IDP camps in our various local government. And so while His Excellency was going around to at least sympathize with the victims, he indeed told them that, yes, that they will, there's that effort to move these people to a safer place. And that is why we are currently doing. Like I told you, we have a committee in place now. We are working around it to ensure that this is done as quickly as possible.
So what is the, because there are several reports as to even places that the displaced people are supposed to stay, not as comfortable minimally as they may have wanted. Is that being addressed, and what are you going to be doing moving forward?
Yes. This is emergency, and we just have to treat it like that. So many public places have been turned to IDP camps, and so we have tried in our own way to provide at least a little succor in form of giving them relief materials and ensuring that they, at least minimally, they have a good living, providing water, lights, and even mobile toilets, just to ease their comfort, at least.
There has to be like a bigger solution and a larger conversation at the higher level to ensure that these kind of things are addressed, because if this kind of flooding happens again and keeps happening, the economy, the state economy will be hit, people's livelihoods already hit, so they're taking a big hit. So what can you tell us about the conversation going on? Is the president, the government, are they speaking, neighboring countries? What's being done to ensure that this is addressed such that you don't have this kind of devastation any further?
Yes, unfortunately, these things will continue to happen for the fact that even our climate change, climate change is affecting us badly. And so this will continue to happen. But then as a government, I think the first and foremost is to ensure that we have a proper dredging of this water. Don't forget the fact that Kogi State have the confluence of these rivers, both Benue and Niger. And so they converge in Lokoja, and that is why we only, experience this level. And so I think the first thing is to ensure that we have these rivers dredged. By the time we have it, then it will accommodate more water. That alone will mitigate this problem we're talking about. And aside that, there are places where if we can provide, because the state government has started the phase 1 of embankment, and that has really helped in this situation. So if such embankment can be extended, along the coastal line to hit where they call Natako, I think it will go a long way in, curbing this. And at the same time, if bridges can be like what you have in Kotonkarufi now, you can see that some people spend days, in that long jump. And so if that water can be dredged, at least it will enable more water to flow. Then you have, even in Lokoja metropolis, there are places that we have to construct bridges so that it will not hinder vehicular movement. Water can pass under while the vehicles pass over. These are measures that I think that can put in place to curb this. But then, with the reality of climate change, honestly, we'll continue to face this.
You know, when this happened, at the initial stage, lots of people either underestimated it or didn't understand the magnitude of some of these things, so they didn't respond as they ought to. But is it possible to have an estimate of what the gravity of what we're dealing with? Because even if people wanted to help, they might need an idea of the kind of damage that this has caused in terms of quantifying it such that people can then know how to intervene moving forward.
Like I said, we are at the second stage, and the third stage will still come. But then, presently, I know that several houses, you know, I told you about 70,000 in 2012. Now you can imagine what the data, the statistics will be now. Well, I can assure you that well over 100,000+ houses might be affected. And you have farmlands equally. I was telling you that we have 10 local governments. You can imagine where Ibaji, where we even have the major, you know, producers of rice, is gone. All their farmland gone. And so you can see the level of devastation. We're talking about properties worth of billions of nairas. Honestly, for now, we cannot really ascertain the level. But I think by the time water recedes a little, then we can come out with accurate figure. But for now, we are still battling with how to get people off these flood-prone areas to higher ground.
My colleagues, I've got questions for you. Go ahead, guys.
Chamberlain. Well, Mr. Mafai, again, I share Chamberlain's sentiments in what your state must be dealing with right now, trying to get ahead of this. But then, you know, you said that you're working with the Meteorological Agency and the Hydrological Agency as well. But they have also said, look, the states didn't act quickly enough, that maybe if the states, you know, that were vulnerable to this flooding had acted earlier enough, taking preventive measures, perhaps it wouldn't be as severe as we have it on our hands now. How would you respond?
Oh, my brother, like I told you, this issue has become an annual ritual. And so at every point in time, we are ready. And that was why I told you the activities we had. The first activities is before it happens. And so, like I told you, that the only thing as the state could do is to ensure that we carry out proper sensitization and creating awareness campaign for our people to, this will come, certainly. And so that is why a lot of, my brother, you know, as we speak, we have only recorded just 4 casualties. Hadn't been, we have not given out this earlier, you know, earlier awareness, earlier campaign, it will have been more than that.
But you also said something just now.
In the entire
my apologies. You also said just now that there's been a huge, you know, record of losses already. That it's worst, perhaps the worst ever. You know, so I'm just wondering if, you know, not just the information, but some preemptive measures have been taken to ensure that it doesn't get that as bad as it's gotten. Perhaps it wouldn't be as bad as it is now. You know, the roads so bad. You know, traffic can't move. Food poverty, you know, creeping in, fuel scarcity getting worse simply because of this flooding. That's the question I'm trying to get ahead of.
Yes, like you know, this is natural. You can't not tell them not to open up the dams. And as those dams were opened, especially the one from Cameroon, it hits Shiroro to Kenji, and you have that of Jeba. So the moment these dams were opened, of course, both river in Niger and Benue will definitely converge, will definitely meet in Lokoja, and that is why we will have ensured that our people are given proper. There's nothing we can do about it. Like I said, there are long times remediation, but the most important thing is to ensure that we have this water dredged. The moment we have it dredged, then it will accommodate, you know, it will give in for, you know, room for more water, you know. But the moment these things are not done, like I said, that Lokoja-Kutunkarufi axis is because of these factors I've just mentioned. You know, if that place is dredged, honestly, it will accommodate more waters, and it will not be splashing all over the places. It will not cover the. It will not cover the roads.
But just
so many roads are being cut off now.
Yeah.
Even in all the, not only in Kotunkarufi, even in all the 10 local governments I've earlier mentioned.
Very sadly so. But, you know, speak to this one very quickly. The governor also said recently calling for a state of national disaster, perhaps another way of saying a state of emergency. What, in your opinion, are the expectations of the federal government on that?
Well, we'll continue to appeal to the federal government, you know, just like my governor has rightly, you know, appealed the other time when his counterpart from Kogi came. Well, we'll continue to appeal, make this appeal, because the level of destruction is so massive that honestly, the best thing to do is just to go on for the states to be at least being turned to a state of emergency as this case is now. And like I said, it's not only for the federal government, even the well-spirited persons in the society, and even the international donors. These are people that we're appealing to for them to come to our aid in Kogi State. The budgets that we have, of course, obviously cannot take care of this. And that is why we are making this passionate appeal.
Well, Mr. Mofai, we identify with the people of Kogi State at this very, very difficult time, and thankfully the casualty has not been much. You talk about how the state government has embarked on sensitization, but I wonder if that is enough, considering the sufficient warning provided by NIMET, the hydrological services, and following this disaster, what we have seen is NEMA, you know, taking in 10,000 displaced, the traffic lockjam witnessed in Kotonkarfe, in Lokoja. We've seen FRSC manage traffic. What are the support systems provided, you know, from the structures of the Kogi State government itself to respond to this? Where are your own shelters? Where is the Kogi State Traffic Management Agency, if there's any, to respond to, you know, that emergency in Kotonkarfe, which has had a ricochet effect across states of the Federation?
Yes, if not for the like I told you, if not for the proactiveness of the state government, it will have been even worse than this. Like I told you that already the state is constructing an embankment, which alone has reduced the effect of this flooding in Lokoja metropolis. When you come there, you see it yourself. We are only trying to ensure that this embankment is taken along the coastal that will hit Nataku Junction. That alone is a contract that is ongoing to ensure that we tackle this. And I can assure you that during this period, all hands are on deck. We have NEMA, we have SEMA, and we have even road safety coming into, you know, to rescue this situation. We have NEMA brought some relief materials, and it has equally been distributed. We have non-consumable and consumable items. It has been distributed, you know, together with the support the government is giving to these displaced people. But I think federal government has to quickly see to how this problem could be solved. And one of it is to ensure that this water is being dredged, and by providing more bridges.
Just one more, Mr. Mofai, as we wind down. Do you have any information as to the trucks laden with fuel that were stuck? Are they moving now? What's happening to movement of goods and services?
Yes, the situation is getting better now. Yes, we have at least one road. We have a place that a vehicle can pass, you know, just one vehicle can pass at the moment. It has not given room for two vehicles to move at the same time, but at least the situation is getting improved.
Well,
and I want to believe that before the week runs out, at least we'll get out of it.
Well, we do wish you and the government and the people of Kogi State all the best. And several other states as well are affected by this flood, we might add. So we hope that at least you find strength and deal with this matter. Thank you for talking to us today on the program.
Thank you, Chamberlain. I'm glad to be on.